House on Pleasant Street channel on YouTube. I'm going to start a new project today, and what it is the previous owner installed this engineered hardwood over the existing hardwood floors, and I really don't like it. It's kind of a wider plank, and it really doesn't suit the stuff in here that's 100 years old. There is real hardwood under here. However, I do know that there's some sort of a trap door under here. Well, not a door, but at some point I suspect that they cut a hole in the floor, probably to excavate the basement, because half of the basement is actually deeper. One half is about 7.5 foot, and then the original part is 6.5 foot. So there is probably the hardwood was mangled under here, but I think there's enough of the original all around. I'm thinking there might be enough of this stuff all around, and I'm willing to peel all this up to reveal this square or rectangle. I suspect there's going to be a rectangle of plywood. I hope it's not too horrible, but my plan is to peel all this up, and I'll deal with the square when it comes to it. If I can reveal real hardwood like this, then it'll match the living room, and it'll match the part of the eat-in kitchen here. If you've watched any of my previous videos, we gutted this whole room, basically put a new kitchen in, and there was 3 or maybe even 4 layers of flooring here that we peeled up to reveal the original hardwood, which also runs to the entryway. So it'd be kind of nice to have everything the same. Of course, this area here will have to be filled, and this area here, because it was the kitchen, there's also wood under here, but I had bought these laminate tiles that I really like, and they're nice and thin, so it's not a big height difference here. So I hate when floors are different, and I hate when the floor heights are high, but I can live with this. It matches the bathroom. But what I want to do is see what we got under here. I'm kind of curious to see what went on. Again, I hope that the rectangle, wherever it may be, somewhere in this area, I'm pretty sure I can certainly see the rectangle from the basement. I hope it's not too horrible, but I'm going to start peeling this up just to see what we have. Okay, a couple minutes later, I like what I see. I see original hardwood, but not only that, I see a nice pattern. So it's kind of like a square with a border. So far so good. Okay, going well. Unfortunately, there's our patch. I knew there was going to be a patch. I was kind of hoping that it would be more under the dining room table, but it is not. It comes way out to here. So I had ideas of camouflaging this, maybe toll painting it, throwing ideas out. Obviously, this is not going to work. We're going to have to lace some pieces of wood in to fill this area, but that's for another time. Other than the patch, the wood is the engineered hardwood's coming up easy, and everything else that I see I actually really like. Real shame to cover this up. I mean, it's dusty and dirty, but you see comes down like this on a corner, and it's all weaved in the corners like that. I really like it a lot. Unfortunately, they absolutely butchered it. Even when they cut the hole out, they absolutely butchered it. But I knew it was going to be an issue, and we'll deal that when the time comes. This is going fairly quick. I'm going to keep peeling this up, and I'm going to repurpose this. I'm either going to sell it or reuse it, maybe slice it narrow and weave it in here. Maybe, I don't know. see how this goes. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to repair this floor. And the plan is to try to reuse some of this engineered wood that I peeled up. It's a little bit, it's wider. But it's kind of a similar tone. And I like to reuse stuff. It's also thinner, a little bit thinner. So I think I would like to try this. I could slice these down on my table saw, and then you just glue and face nail them. They would not be tongue and groove like the old ones were, or what this is. But all I have to do is fill in this area where the trap door was put in. And I think it's certainly worth a try. I want to move this table out of the way. I want to lift this plywood up. And the braces that are holding the plywood up, I'd like to lower them by the thickness, whatever thickness this is. And then I'd be able to lay this back down. If it was sliced and weaved in, it may work. It may not work, but it's certainly worth a try. And this is all the wood I have. There's quite a bit of it. That's all the wood, the engineered wood that was laying on top of that floor. I've got two piles. So basically, this entire room, if you remember, or as you've seen, was covered up with this engineered wood. And all I would have to do is piece in this patch. Let's get the table out of the way. Let's see if we can pry up on this plywood and get this lifted up. Okay, so I got my sheet of plywood up, fairly simple. I just had to pull the nails all around, and now I've exposed the framing. So basically what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut around. Actually, I'm not going to cut around. I think I'm going to remove these joist hangers, and I'm going to have to lower. I'm going to remove these joist hangers. I'm going to lower these wooden members until the plywood can sit just slightly below the surface, whatever the thickness of the flooring is. So the whole thing has to be lowered down by this much. Let's take a measurement of that, see what it is. So I just took a measurement of this engineered wood, and it looks like it's 5/8. So that's what I would have to lower these framing members by. Let's see if we can remove these joist hangers and remove these 2x4s that are on the perimeter. See if we can make this work. A little bit of a view of the dining room from the basement. Yeah, different perspective when this is all open. So yeah, these are the, I think I'm just going to lower. I'm just going to remove these joist hangers, bring everything down 5/8. Bring everything down 5/8, hopefully, and then relay that same plywood. And if I measured correctly, I should be able to lay the engineered floor, and it should be flush. Okay, let's see if we can pry some of these off. Okay, I'm just continuing with the demolition of these beams here. I'll just show you a little bit what I'm doing. So one at a time, hopefully. There we go. There's one. There's two. This is the second one. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to tackle these joist hangers. I'm going to start prying these off, and I'm going to take these down. Okay, well, it's the next day. I've got my hole completely cleared out. All the hangers are gone. Everything's cleaned up. I've just gone around and measured. So let's figure out some framing for this. I think I may try to reuse some of the old 2x8s. I'm just not sure if I'm going to frame everything this way. I might put the members this way. 90 degrees to how the plywood lays. But I'm not sure. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so I just ran out to the hardware store, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my wood this way. They had it running lengthwise. I'm going to run it this way. I'm going to put four pieces across. So I bought 8 of these joist hangers. So I'm going to put them like this. 4, and then 4 this side. And then I'm going to span these with 2x6s. And I went with 2x6s because I think that's going to be plenty with the 3/4 inch plywood and the hardwood on top. And with the joist hangers, and I am putting 4 of them. So, and I already have the 2x6s on hand. So between these joist hangers, excuse me, I bought a little bit of PL Premium glue. That's probably going to be more for later when I'm laying the wood in some areas. And I got some nails for anchoring these. So massive investment so far. $32. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to start measuring. I do have a full sheet that lays here, but there is this little section over here that's got a span like this. So that's why for sure I wanted the extra hanger over here. So it's going to be close to here, but because there is a break in the board, I'll put one here. Then I'll try to space the other ones out kind of evenly. I think that should be enough. Should be more than enough support. Okay, let's get measuring. Okay, so it's been about an hour. I got all my framing members in with my joist hangers. Looks pretty good. I went 20 inches on center. Of course, these ones are way closer. And down there, they're all bunched up. So it should be plenty strong. Now, I got to put my plywood down. That little piece that goes here. Now, I got to put my sheet down. I'm going to lay my sheet down gently. And hope that I measured this all right. And that this is going to work. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, here we are. The patch is back in. We're pretty much exactly in the same configuration that we were before, except now we're 5/8 of an inch lower. So when I lay this floor down, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy, everything is kind of level now. I say kind of because it's going to need a little manipulation. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Pretty good. What about over there? Yeah, not bad, not bad. So obviously the parts that get laced in, because I'm going to have to stagger these, so I don't have cut ends all together. I'll probably have to put a little, because these are 3/4. This is 3/4. This is 5/8. The part that goes over, I might have to put a little shim under there, but we'll deal with that as we go. I think this is good. It's been lowered. It's definitely stronger than it was. Let's take a look from it downstairs. I'm going to fasten it down, and I'm going to start ripping the old engineered wood. Yeah, we're back to where we were, except I think it's technically stronger, and now I'll be able to match up some wood up there. The tones are not going to be perfect, but the engineered wood, although it's not, would be considered real hardwood, it's more like a plywood, but it does have enough of a face that one day we could sand these down and bring them back to match the old floors, or match them close enough for what we're doing. We're just fixing up our old floor on a real budget. This is all stuff I'm reusing. I'm going to try to make it work. Okay, let's start ripping some of this down, because I have to make it this thickness. And there will be no tongue and groove. So, Some people would consider this not proper. But again, this is not a... I'm just showing you how I'm fixing my old floor. This is not a how-to video. A lot of people would think that this is not proper. But we got some wood. I'm going to slice it. I'm going to glue and nail it down. And hopefully it'll all blend. And hopefully it works. Let's start ripping these boards down. We've got our work cut out. Okay, well here is all my engineered wood ripped down to 2 1/4. And this is going to be the match for the hardwood floors. I pretty much ripped it all up. It's probably more than what I need. But let's see if we can start putting some of this in. Let's see how it goes. Okay, well I'm starting to I'm trying to lace in some of this engineered wood, and of course, so I don't have a bunch of butt ends, I have to cut in to here, kind of stagger this. And what's interesting is I'm finding old newspaper underneath the wood. Oh, last summer, blouses, Saturday. I wonder if we could find a date. I see Mexican. I mean, this house is from 1918, as you know. So a lot of this stuff could be very, very old. Cooked meats, lobster. I wish I could find a date. 22 Spring Garden Road. That's in Halifax. Kind of interesting to find. President of the United States. Yeah, well, you know, they're not talking about Donald Trump here. Fair dealing. Oh my God, this is so interesting. Pants and jumpers. Coin purses. Now, of course, I got to rip this up. I got to rip this up and try to lay down some of this new wood. But if I come across anything interesting again, I'm gonna take some more footage. Okay. Looks like the kind of a comic strip. Bird seed. Huh. Now over here, there's a little bit of some writing here. I should be working on my floor and not doing this. Bargains for Friday and Saturday morning at the GM Smith something limited. What do we got? What's 98 cents? Table napkins. What else we got? White silk hose. 25 cents. Ladies' white silk gloves. Oh, okay. You know this is old. White silk gloves. 75 cents. That's cheap. Maple syrup. Bulk tea. Beans for 30 cents. So interesting. Okay, I gotta carry on here. Okay, so this is kind of the idea here for putting this new wood in. Yesterday I got everything cut back. Kind of tried to make it a little bit random so that we don't have any butt ends come together. So this was quite a task, quite a pain. So the idea is I'm just going to simply lay this in like this. And maybe use some liquid nails or some, not sure yet. liquid nails, maybe face nail them with my brad nailer. But anyway, the tones don't match. The tones will match more around here, around the border. But that's okay. These can all be refinished. So yeah, let's start laying these. Let's be done with this project. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, so I started laying down the engineered wood, and it's going pretty good. You know, we knew the tones weren't going to match, but once sanded, eventually when we do sand this, it should blend in pretty good. So because I raised my floor up, this is now, because these are 3/4 and these are 5/8, I have this area raised, but of course the part where I'm lacing in, this part was lower. So I'm using little shims. I'm using little shims like these, and these are old laminate vinyl floor tiles, and they're probably about 1/8 of an inch or so, thereabouts. Very thin, but make a long story short, when I put this in, when I put my engineered wood on top, it's actually turns out quite perfect. So a little bit piecemeal. I'm piecing in little pieces here where I'm just going to add these little strips in my lower spots, and I'm just face nailing these in with my brad nailer. And I mean, it's not, you know, you can't really, on an old rustic floor like this, I mean, you know, it's not the, I think this is going to be fine. And it's going to be level, and it's going to be wood. Well, let's check in a little bit later when we make more progress. Okay, well, here's my progress. It's working. Like I said, the tones are way off, but it is all oak. And at some point when we do sand, it should blend in pretty good. And again, this is not a how-to. This is not a how-to. This is engineered wood that I'm tying in with 100-year-old hardwood. I'm face nailing and gluing, mostly face nailing, and I'm using the tongue and groove on the butt ends. So that's kind of good. And I'm just going to carry on. I'm probably about halfway done. And we'll just pan around once I'm done. See how this all turned out. See if it was worth trying to do this on such an extreme budget. Let's see. Okay, well, it's quite a few hours later, but here's the finished product. And as you can see, it worked quite well. It worked fantastic. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, the tones are off. That's because this area here would have been stained a little bit darker. For the perimeter, it's almost a perfect match. And it's kind of hard to believe that you could take 100-year-old hardwood and match it up this well with engineered wood from, you know, the 2000s. So anyway, that's it. Of course, it would have to be sanded and refinished, but pretty happy with the results. Everything is fairly smooth, fairly even, filled in. I reused some old material. This cost just a tad over $30. And that's all for now. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you on the next one.